Hello, I'm Matt Smith, and this is my district operations project, KISA District and Building Goals for USD 105, as well as our junior senior high school and our elementary school. This is for my leadership for business management class at Newman University. I will apologize because I do move around. I did as a classroom teacher, so there'll be times that I am in the picture and there'll be times that I'm not. So, enjoy. Okay, Rollins County, USD 105, it takes a world of difference to make a different world. We believe that you have a vision and a mission. The second thing is district goals and action plans. You have district targets and measures of success, because with the KISA process, that is one thing that we have to have in order to work towards our accreditation. We have our end results, and then district future plans from the results. So how are we going to get there? Well, our mission here is to share responsibility with students, staff, and the community in providing a positive learning environment within the financial means of the district that allows all students to gain lifelong learning skills necessary to become productive and responsible members of an ever-changing society. Rose capacity standards. This is big with KSDE, so we implemented this as part of the process that we have for our KISA, our KISA process. Number one, sufficient oral and written communication, skills to enable students to function in a complex and rapidly changing civilization. The second, sufficient knowledge of economic, social, and political systems to enable the students to make informed choices. The third one, sufficient understanding of governmental processes to enable the student to understand the issues and affect his or her community, state, or nation. The fourth one is sufficient self-knowledge and knowledge of his or her mental or physical wellness. Number five, sufficient grounding in the arts to enable each student to appreciate his or her cultural, historical heritage. Number six, sufficient training or preparation for advanced training in either academic or vocational fields as to enable each child to choose and pursue life work intelligently. And the seventh one is sufficient levels of academic or vocational skills to enable public school students to compete favorably with their counterparts in surrounding states in academics or in the job market. Now, how are we going to get there? What are our goals? Number one is Rollins County school students will receive academic prep, technology prep, employability skills, and understanding through a rigorous and relevant curriculum alignment and delivery. How are we going to get there? Well, each teacher, the first step, each teacher in the district will continue to work on mapping their curriculum to ensure that each standard is covered through their daily lessons. Okay, we will skip to slide 5 and we'll show you the curriculum mapping that we have designed. So, slide 5. What they'll do is, through each 9 weeks, they will have their curriculum mapping. So let's say this is third 9 weeks, since we're really finishing that up. Their topic. What's their topic they're going to cover? What are the standards and the objectives that each lesson is going to cover? Is there any vocabulary, necessary vocabulary? What were their resources? Maybe their textbook page number. How did they get there? What did the students do? How did the students demonstrate by learning? And lastly, the time. How much time did it take for these things to occur? Now, how are we going to get there with those? Well, the second step. Each teacher in the district will utilize a curriculum mapping to ensure that every class covers all the necessary Kansas College and Career Ready standards. So we have those hyperlinks here you can get on. You have history, government, social studies standards. We have our math standards, science. We even have our counseling. It's the first year we've had a counselor in several years. That was a job that I had taken on helping students. Grateful for our new counselor, Mrs. Love Hefner. Our ELA standards, as well as our health standards. We also have our pathway competencies, and we here at RCHS are very fortunate. We have 6 pathways that we offer. Again, those competencies are hyperlinked. You have Ag, Power, Structure, and Tech Systems. Those are the same as the Comp Ag, which is the second one. We have our government standards. Every student is required to take government in high school, so we did take advantage of that, and I incorporated that pathway through the help of our consortium, so we were able to get that. We've also got manufacturing, we've got some digital, web and digital, and then our architecture and construction. So we offer various things for our students here at RCHS as far as the competencies, a different pathway, and we really try to promote if it's a work study or a job study. So we go through these pathways. We end up when we get to that technical level, and by their senior year, they can take an OJT or an on-the-job training and learn about different facets of different professions. C. Rollins County Schools will use the following testing practices. So 3rd through 6th grade, and what we'll do is we have all of our test scores hyperlinked from KSDE. Those will be updated every single year as those results become available. So for 3rd through 6th grade, we have English, Math, Science in 5th grade, and a possible interest inventory. Notice we do have all those on here. We do have a Spanish version of our interest inventory because we do have a population of Hispanic students, so this makes it easier for them. We do have some students that are part of KELPA, so this makes it a little bit easier for them to answer those questions. Very fortunate, I have a very good Spanish teacher that helps me interpret those results for the students. So when we do set up their IPSs, as they get into high school, it's a pretty simple process. Seventh through 8th, 10th and 11th, so we have English, Math, Science, Social Studies, 8 and 11. Possible interest inventory for 7th and 8th grade. Very interested in 8th grade, or in junior high per se. We have a career studies class that is offered in junior high that really helps out with this. So there's another possibility for us. Also possible ACT test practice for grades 10 and 11. We also offer that to our seniors if they need to take it as well. But again, we have our KSDE, our state assessment results that will be uploaded every year. We have our interest inventories as well. So we use those to help when we enroll kids each year for their new classes. They can check those out. Okay, with our ACT scores in 2020 graduates, excuse me, percentage of students taking the test were 24%. Okay, that was 6 out of 25. Not great, but that is getting better. They were only sophomores. Okay, composite score, if we look at their composite score on that, for each one of them, it's a 20.8. If we take their highest composite score, it's a 21.5. So that number can be skewed. I know when you look at your building report card, that number can be skewed a little bit. They don't always necessarily take the highest, and it just works out that way. It's kind of how standardized testing works. Average English, 21.8, Math, 19.7, Reading, 22.8, Science, 21.7. Percent of national standards met, 12%. 50% of those who took the ACT, national average is 38%. So what happens is 12% of our kids met that because there was only 6 of them. But of those 6, 50% of them met the national average. So that was great for our little school. Percent that met the state standards, 8% because that number is so small. Again, we were above the state average at 33%, as the state average was 29% in this particular year. ACT scores for our 2019 graduates, we had 95% taking. We had all but one student who took it, has taken it. Composite score, we had 19.2, again, a little bit low, but you have to look at other factors. 19.4 if you take all those averages. You can see our average English was 17.2, math 19.1, reading 20.3, science was 21%. That met is 40%. Of that number's higher. Of that 40%, 42% of them were above the national average. So again, both those numbers were higher. As far as the state, we were a little bit below that at 25 and 26 as opposed to 29. Now, you ask the importance of these. Well, absolutely, they're very important, but we also have other options, other opportunities that we give our students here at RCHS as far as that goes, from our pathways, our technical education per se. Our graduates of 2018, so last year, 78.3% of them took the test. Excuse me, average was 20.11, their highest was 20.38. English, 18.72, math, 20.05, reading, 21, science was 21.89, met, 27 and 33, a little bit lower than the national average at 38. State was at 17 and 22, and that average again was 29, so a little bit below there. Very technically sound class, a lot of blue-collar workers, and that's one thing that we appreciate with this new accreditation process. Okay, ACT information, I'll show you this on the slide, slide 10. Right there, and you can kind of see how they go. We've got students taking the test. We've got our 18 graduates, 19 graduates, 20 graduates. So our current seniors, they're a little bit higher, but it just varies right across the board. Okay. And those numbers will change every year, and we know that. They can fluctuate, and that's how it works. As far as our freshmen, what we will have for them as far as testing practices is interest inventory. They do not take state assessments, so they will take that interest inventory during their 8th grade year, beginning of their 9th grade year, and we'll see when we do enrollment what they want to do, what they want to be. And a lot of times you'll find out we get, professional football player, professional basketball player, and in some cases we get an I don't know. But with our IPSs, that's what we look at, and that's how we use that information. Next we have RCHS-D is working on hosting the ACT test. This is something that we're going to do this spring. We were going to do it earlier. We had a snow day, so that got postponed until April 2nd. We're also going to host one next fall and then in the spring of 2020. This allows our students the opportunity to not have to travel. We've got somebody that can do this with our counselor, so it allows better working for our students here. Rawlins County Administration will provide professional development in the areas of curriculum and support individual staff members in reaching their PDC goals. So here we allow our staff to work on their continuing ed to continue to get better at their craft. And here's some different aids that we have found. Our service center in Oakley, another service center in Sublette that we use, KSD professional development, and then KSD online professional development. And then teacher visitation is to another district, promoting teachers to continue to get better and want to learn from someone else, because sometimes we don't want to get stuck in a rut, but sometimes we do, so we always want them to step out of their comfort zone a little bit and get better. The next one is the counselor provides ACT prep courses through local service center and ACT prep guide. So this past fall, we had a ACT prep course where we took several juniors and seniors over there for that. All of them came back, great thoughts, a lot of benefit for them. They enjoyed the production of it, and they felt like it was going to better prepare them for the ACT test. And then this is an ACT prep guide that we have hyperlinked on here. Gives an example test for the students. We did email this out to every sophomore, junior, and senior parent. so that they have access to it. And then our OJT program, mentioned that earlier. On-the-job training. This is something that I'm kind of passionate about as far as that goes, because you get into, it takes away from the standardized testing. Our OJT program, I've got some current juniors that are going to benefit from this as seniors. It's a senior project or a senior class that they can take. They may not do real great on their standardized tests, but I tell you what, they challenged the ag teacher as far as wanting to build a go-kart. And within 2 weeks, there were about 6 of them. They had the engine running, and the go-kart was racing up and down in our school parking lot. And I was thrilled. So this is something that's going to benefit those students. You can see it's not for everybody. In 17-18, we had 26%. In 18-19, we had 25%. This year, 19-20, we will have even fewer percent, but in 2021, it will continue to, 18-19 it's less, but in 19-20 it will increase considerably. Yearly graduation rates, this is something else that is being brought up. So in 2017-2018, we had 95.7%, 22 to 23 students graduate out of that class as they were here. In 18-19, we will have 100%. In 19-20, you can see that we have the possibility of all of those graduating. That is, could be that they might have decided to go to GED or drop out or what. But in those 2 years, we've only had one. So we pride ourselves on that. Here is our graduation rate chart. But you can see, here's the number of students, total students. In red, pink is the number that graduated, and then the purple or blue is the percentage. Now, at 20 and 2019, you see these are all 100. We don't have one in the middle, so we're anticipating, as in potential, we're anticipating all of those students graduating. All right, building leadership team may use data from post-secondary success as a way to evaluate the success of the curriculum goals, current predictors of post-secondary success, career and technical education pathway completion. This is through our CTE classes that we mentioned earlier. Advanced placement, we do have advanced placement classes that are offered, not taken every year, but we offer them. Post-secondary enrollment. Are they going to enroll in a 2-year, a 4-year? What are they going to enroll in? Are they going to enroll in a VOTAC? What's going to be the best thing for them? Post-secondary retention. Are they going to go back to school? Excuse me. ACT score. We've talked about that. And post-secondary is defined as workforce military certification programs and institutes of higher learning. So, when we look at those different things, how many of our students each year are going out and producing? Now, yes, this document is going to continue to grow and continue to get bigger. But as we started, you can see, and we'll check for slide 16 as what we've got going on. Okay, so right here, we have 22 of those students who graduated. The 21, we know that she is in the workforce. She's gotten her GED. But of those, 11 of them went to a 4-year university. 11 of them are still in. That's good. 7 of them went to a junior college. We've still got 7 of them in. I know that. I know some of those are going to transfer and go to a 4-year university this year. I had a conversation with one at Sub-State basketball. And 4 of them joined the workforce. And that is okay, because we are a farming community, and rich in agriculture. So that's okay. We've got some taking over the family farms, family ranches, things like that. And for this class, we didn't have any that joined the military. 2019,